Hey, it's Steph from Happy Place to Grow. Come on into my classroom. I'm here at school and it's a Thursday. I just wanted to check in with you and see how things are going. You know, the teacher is the difference. And as I'm journeying through my year, I am sharing with you from this book, Inspirations, that I am gathering. The name of the book is The First Days of School. And I wanted to share with you, before we launch into our next topic, my quote that I have been really dwelling on this week. And I'm going to read it because, of course, the information in here is really deep. It's really big, and I want to get it right. It says, teachers must always learn new knowledge and skills continuously. Always learning to do it better. And you know, as teachers, sometimes we're terrible students. When we have to go to a workshop or we have to have a training, we sometimes disengage. You've done it. I know I've done it. But, you know, this is giving me a fresh perspective. We should be what we want our students to be when we're teaching. And we need to always be learning and growing, because even though you've taught many, many years, I've taught almost 20, this is my 28th year. I'm always learning new things or gaining a different perspective on the way that I'm doing things. And that way I can keep all of my lessons fresh. I can have a fresh take and have fresh eyes. So don't tune out during those trainings. And, you know, it's always great to pick up a good teacher book and be inspired too. So as teachers, we've got to always grow and learn new skills. So don't tune out. Definitely be a learner. All right, last week we talked about small groups. The teacher is the difference, and definitely reading is a big topic, and it's a big subject that we need to do our very best. And we talked about organizing and how you form your groups. This week I thought it would be really fun to talk about writing. Writing is actually my favorite subject to teach. And several years ago, I was fortunate to be able to take a course in Writer's Workshop. It was a year-long course. I learned so much, and my love of writing just grew. So I wanted to share with you how you can build your Writer's Workshop and include it and really make it a great and inspirational time for your students. Now, this is a really big subject, so I thought I would break it into 2 videos. This one's going to be pretty short. I'm just going to talk about the prep, getting ready for the launch of it. You want to prep it, you want to get ready for it so that you can make it a really great experience for your students. You want to inspire them, so you want to have everything ready to go. Now, a couple years ago, I was at Barnes & Noble and I found this book, Launching the Writing Workshop. And I thought it was a really great book because it had photos and captions. And that was easy for me because I don't know if you're like me, but when I get a teacher book, sometimes I just want to scan and skim. I don't want to read, chat. I don't have time. I know you don't. I loved this one because it just set up Writing Workshop in an easy way for me to guide me with photos, how to set up your room, what materials to gather, and then with each photo, there's just a little caption. And of course, this is really old. You know it. Look at those computers. However, the way that Writing Workshop is set up is still the same. So even though this is an older book and maybe it's been updated and, you know, there's a new version of it, however, it's still a really great tool to use for setting and launching your writer's workshop. So I don't even know if you can still get this, maybe on Amazon. Check it out if you can. However, I'm going to give you a few tips that I got from this book and from my writing workshop class that will help you, and it will just sort of be a little step-by-step guide so you can launch into this great and wonderful time of the day writing. All right, so first thing is gather some materials. So I know, like, if you're like me, my students already have a lot of materials. However, if they think there's a special cart of writing materials, it's going to make them think, this time is really special because the teacher has a special cart just for writing materials. Of course, you'll have to talk to your students about how they can go to the cart and get their materials, but you can have some erasers, some sharpened pencils, gel pens, they love those, markers, crayons, glue sticks, paper, of course, and if you are so brave, you should include the stapler. Yeah, because eventually your kids are going to be making books. They're going to become authors. So you're going to want to just think about materials that you want to have available that students can come and check out off the cart so that they can use during writing workshop. Again, it's a special time, so a special cart is always important. You're also going to want to make sure that you have whatever it is you want them to write in. Now, I teach first grade, and I love these primary journals. You can get them on the internet. I know Amazon probably has these. Our school always orders them. I have seen them at Walmart when it is time for school to start. Sometimes they'll have these. I love these for young writers because the top is a place to illustrate, and then the lines are specially set up for young writers. And I always have my students decorate their writer's notebook with stickers. So you're definitely going to want to decide, depending on the age of your child and depending on what grade you teach, what kind of writer's notebook. Again, it's a special time, so they need a special notebook. And I always start with my notebook. We end up going into bookmaking, but we always start here. So make sure you've got enough notebooks for each student. Part of writing workshop is reading. You're going to want to make sure that you're thinking about good authors because writing is definitely connected to reading. And one thing I always tell my students is we can get good ideas from other authors. So definitely make sure that you have thought about some good read alouds. And I always love to start the year off with Kevin Henkey's books. I love his characters, and there are so many. So he is the first author. I usually do like a little author study. I tell my students about him. I go online and I let them go to his website and we watch. He talks to the students about how he was inspired to be an author. So I like to always read aloud to my students so that as they're listening, they can hear what good writing sounds like. So we've got our materials, special, in addition to what they already have, a special writing notebook, decorated. We'll talk about that in the next video. A read aloud, you're definitely going to want to pre-think this, and you're going to want to, as you're reading, or if you're using a YouTube video to read, because these are definitely available online by really cool readers too. Think about what you want to say that you think the author does well. Have those conversations already thought out. And don't forget, that as your students start writing, you're going to want to check in with them. You're going to want to have conferences. So think of a way that you're going to get with students and discuss what they're working on. You're going to check in with them. Sometimes I like to use a calendar. So I just grabbed this calendar that I had and I started marking my October days. And then I'm going to write down maybe a list of 1 or 2 students that I'm going to visit during writing workshops. Sometimes I just float around and just view and see what they're doing. And then I'll have my pencil and I'll just make notes. On that calendar day, I'll write the student's name. If I notice that they're using capital letters or they're not spacing, I could just make a note. Again, I'm putting down some data so that I know when I'm teaching my writing workshop mini lessons, I know then what I need to work on. So you're going to want to make sure you have a schedule of conferencing, a way that you're going to get to each student. You can't get to each student every day, but you want to visit every student throughout the week so that you can monitor and check in with them. And they know that the teacher is circulating, so they know that they're being held accountable and that you think it's valuable because you're checking on them. And of course, when you're checking on them and conferencing, you are receiving their writing and you're giving them some positive encouragement. All right. So, launching writing workshop. You're prepping, you're getting materials, read alouds, special writing notebook. You can check for sources or resources to help you in your launch and your organization of writing workshop. All of these things are going to help you prepare for your actual lessons. Now, in video number 2, coming up next week, I'm going to share with you how I work into my writing workshop time. I always have some pre-lessons before they actually start writing, so I'll share some steps that I take to get my students on the right path for writing workshop. All right. I think that covers our beginning steps for writing workshop. So I'll see you on our next video as we launch into a little bit more information about this really inspirational and awesome subject, writing. All right, until our next video, as always, have a good one.